Good morning. Welcome to another episode of HardFoul. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself, however you are listening, whether it is on YouTube, SoundCloud, or iTunes. Don't forget to subscribe to my SoundCloud, my YouTube, and my iTunes. HardFoul podcasts, all three. Go check it out. Hit that subscribe button for YouTube. Turn on those notifications. Yeah, I hope you guys are ready to have a great weekend. I know I am. I know I said I wasn't going to be uploading, but I'm kind of just a workaholic, and like I said, I love doing this stuff, so pushing it off until Monday. Yeah, am I tired still? A little bit, but I got really inspired this morning, and I was like, I got to do the show. Or yesterday morning, I should say. And I was like, I got to do the show. I got to do it. I got to do it. So I'm like, I'm going to force myself, get up. I'm ready. I actually got up. Like, I was so hyped about this, you guys. I've actually been up since like, maybe 1:45, honestly. I normally get up at 3, and then I'm pretty much ready to go by 3:15, 3:30, so I kind of get stuff set up the night before. But I was so hyped, so inspired. Like, I woke up by 1:45, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to start getting stuff, take a couple more notes. And, yeah, just excited, you guys. I'm really excited, too, because I'm going to start today's show off by answering a question that I've been getting. Why do I upload so much? I've been getting this question more and more, and the common thing that I'm hearing from people is, oh, well, there's a whole bunch of successful people who do podcasts, and they do one really good podcast a week, and that's all they need to do. It's just an hour long, hour and a half long, and it's really well done. It's really successful. So why aren't you doing that? My response: I understand that those people can do it once a week and are successful. I'm not taking anything away from that formula. But understand, that's not my formula. My formula is not to just be copy and paste to be the next great podcaster doing what every other podcaster's done beforehand. I want to, at some point, turn my podcast into a radio show. Not only do I want to turn my podcast into a radio show, I want to turn my channel, just from doing podcasts and doing Madden videos, I want to, in my grand scheme plan, is to create ESPN on YouTube or FS or Fox Sports on YouTube. I have much bigger goals than just doing I will always do my podcast or radio show as it evolves as long as I can, but I want to add in a debate show. I already have been talking to a friend about that. I want to add in kind of like a nightly recap of stuff. It's like recapping what happened that day in the world of sports, giving people who don't have cable, either can't afford it or just don't have it, giving them a way to go online and being like, hey, what did I miss? What happened today? Oh, this guy has a radio show in the morning. I can listen to him. Oh, he also debates what the topics of the day are. Oh, I can go watch that in the afternoon. And he gives me a nightly recap. That is my big plan, you guys. And obviously, I'm starting small. Shout out. I did pick up about 5 or 6 subscribers this week. We're almost at 40. So huge shout out to everyone that subscribed. And also, I listen to a lot, and I mean a lot, of Eric Thomas. And if you know who Eric Thomas is, he's a motivational speaker, and he's really big on work, and so am I. I am a workaholic. Good or bad, it's just what I am. As part of being a workaholic is every day I'm trying to do something. Every day I'm trying to figure something out. And the reason why I enjoy doing my 3 podcasts a week, and honestly, I'd really like to do 5, just at the time I started, there weren't enough headlines or stuff, interesting enough stuff to talk about to justify doing 5. So I felt like I was putting out mediocre content in 2 or 3 of the days of the week. Whereas we're overspaced over 3 shows, I'm able to give much better information. I'm able to talk about much better topics. But regardless, when I listen to Eric Thomas, and his big thing is work, 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 okay? I want to have the same impact on podcasting, sports talk in general, as he's had on motivation. Which is, even if you are someone who's not big into motivation, and I'll be the first to say, I was not big into motivation. He's the only motivational speaker I listen to. But if you mess with motivation at all, And I mean at all. If you just occasionally look up a video and you're like, oh, motivational video for people that are trying to work out, motivational video for people that are trying to be successful, motivational video for marriage, stuff like that, you will almost always hear that man's voice. Why? Because he outworks everybody. I want to be what he is in motivation to sports. I want to be on YouTube, on iTunes, online, talking, giving opinions on things so much that if you're even just a casual sports fan, you will know HardFoul podcast. You will know who I am. You will have heard me speak on a subject. I feel like Stephen A. Smith is that guy right now. And I don't like name dropping because a lot of these guys just have way more success than I have, and I'm not trying to name drop just so people will come look at my videos. But he's kind of the guy right now. If you just even casually listen to sports, you've heard him talk. If you are even kind of an NBA fan, you've heard him scream and shout and talk about LeBron going bald and how he should. That is my goal. That's why I upload so much. It's not, oh, well, these guys do it 1 day a week. Oh, this is, I want to do it 3. There is a method to my madness. You will not be able, by this time next year, be involved in sports, watch SportsCenter, watch Fox Sports, and not hear me give an opinion on one of those things. That's how big my voice will be one day. And I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm not trying to brag. I'm simply stating my reasoning. There's a lot of people, they can do it 1 day a week. They're probably more meticulous than I am. They're probably more well-spoken than I am. They've probably had professional training. They probably have professional lighting every time. But they will not outwork me. And they will not give more time and more of themselves to this project than I will to my project. That's why I upload so much. So, had to clarify that really quick. This is what's really fun about this show that's going to be different than my other ones, is since I haven't been podcasting this week, is I kind of get to take topics from the entire week and kind of mix and match them. So, this will be it'll be a longer show. So expect closer to, we'll probably hit around 45, 50 minutes, but hope you guys are ready for the ride. I know I am. Once again, hope you guys can have a great weekend. We are on the march for 2K, trying to get 2,000 views on YouTube and trying to get 200 listens on iTunes this month. I got 1,000 views on YouTube 2 months ago, 1,500 last month, and 100 plus listens on iTunes both months. So thank you guys for all the support. It's great. I love it. Please keep it coming. March for 2K, trying to hit 2,000 views. Let's go, August. So, if you've been at all watching what's been taking place over the NBA the last week or two, obviously there's the Kyrie Irving story about him wanting to leave LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then it kind of spun into this story of Michael Jordan said Kobe is better than LeBron because 5 is more than 3. Okay. What do both of these things kind of have in common? Is it has turned into, and there's a guy I really like and I listen to, and it's kind of just turned into LeBron bully week. Like, it's everybody's taking shots at LeBron. Everyone's poking fun at LeBron. And he made a really good point where it's like, not fans, not fans will make fun of or take shots at anybody, but players don't take these kind of shots or jabs at a Tiger Woods. They don't take these kind of shots or jabs at a Tom Brady. While there is, even his division rival sometimes dislike, there's a lot of professional and mutual respect between those kind of guys. And LeBron certainly has earned his status as a player and as a talent on the same level as those guys in their own profession. So why do guys keep taking shots at LeBron? Well, that's easy. This is actually I think really funny. I've said before, I worked with kids. I think kids are really interesting because you see a lot of human nature revealed in them. They have no filter. They do their own thing, and generally until middle school, when someone starts calling them mean names, they're very authentic and genuine. What's one of the biggest things you hear about in schools, in elementary school, middle school, high school? You hear about it, but it's a little more different and dark, and I'm not getting into that part of it. But one of the biggest things you hear about in elementary school and middle school are bullies, right? A bully, someone makes fun of you, someone who beats you up, steals your lunch money, the whole 9 yards. There's a reason why guys take shots at LeBron. It's because he's not a bully. You know, everybody always says, you know, a bully's always scary until you punch it in the face. Well, that's not really true, because if you punch the bully in the face and he gets up and punches you back and knocks you on the ground, you're still going to be scared of that bully. That's why no one takes shots or jabs like that at a Michael Jordan. No one takes shots or jabs like that at a Kobe Bryant. Because when you punch them, they get up and punch you back. Same with Tom Brady, as evidenced by this last NFL season. LeBron does not have the bully aspect, despite being much larger, much faster, much more physically dominating than these other guys, than pretty much everyone else damn near in the world, but especially in the NBA. Because LeBron's been punched and stayed on the ground. Think about this. When you have a kid who, not even a bully, but just maybe he's a mean kid or he's a cocky kid because he runs the fastest 40 time or he runs the fastest mile. And it's like, you can sit there and talk trash to him all you want or say, respond with something all you want. But if he keeps beating you and he keeps having the faster mile and he keeps getting the girl, you run out of things to say and or do. And with Jordan, it's like, okay, well, what am I going to say? Well, I have more rebounds than you, or, I have more assists. It's like, or I could do this better than you. Oh, but you still have 6 rings and no one ever technically beat you. Obviously in aspect of the terms of the finals. So it's really hard to look at Jordan and be like, and try to bully him or take a shot at him when you've never beat him. You can't make fun of the kid and say, when 2 kids start arguing about who's faster and then one kid wins 10 races in a row, the other kid really can't come back and say, oh, well, I really am faster. You just got lucky. Oh, yeah, you just got lucky 10 times in a row. LeBron, however, you can absolutely make that case. This is why Steph Curry gets to mock LeBron, and it's completely okay to the entire world because LeBron's punched him, and he's punched back and knocked LeBron on his ass twice. Tim Duncan can say it because LeBron's punched him, and he's punched and knocked LeBron on his ass twice. And Tim Duncan's not a braggy type of player. But the fact is, LeBron has chinks in his armor. He has chinks in his resume. You can outright say, hey, I beat you. I beat you in the finals. I beat you on the biggest stage. You can't say that to Jordan. Only 2 teams can say that to Kobe, and Kobe got revenge on both. He got revenge on the Celtics. The Pistons, he just outlasted. Like, then obviously, you could take it even further back to Russell, and obviously he could talk trash however he wanted. He ran through the whole league. This is why Bird and Magic were very interesting, because they could both get at each other. And so it wasn't just one kid winning 10 races in a row. It was one kid run 5 races, one kid run 4 races. And you could still argue about who's faster. Oh, you got lucky this time, or you got a head start this time. LeBron is not a bully. Or if he is a bully, he's the kind of bully that if you get up and you punch back, you can't knock him on his ass. You can't do that with Jordan. You can't do that with Kobe. You can't do that with Brady. Think about it. With Brady's actually a really fun example, because there is only one guy who can say, hey, I think I'm better than Brady. And no one would believe it, but Eli Manning has punched Brady in the face twice. And he's put Brady on his ass twice. Also had a great defensive line and some great catches. But 2-0 is 2-0 against him. Like I said, that 03 Pistons team or 04 Pistons team could say, hey, we knocked Kobe on his ass. Kobe would outlast him, but they could say for those couple years, hey, we knocked him out. Kevin Durant can take shots at LeBron now because he punched and knocked LeBron on his ass. It's elementary, you guys. And not my dear Watson. Man, I don't know what I would do without coffee. Quick update. And I think I've said it before, but I'm going to just keep reminding because I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to keep saying it. And it's my show, so I can. I'm going to be moving soon, so we'll have a new setup, new studio. I'll have a green screen, so I'll be able to have more visuals and effects as I'm talking. I'm also going to have a different setup for my full-length podcast videos than what I've been doing, breaking up my segments slightly differently. A lot of really cool things that I'm looking forward to, and not only the show's growth, but my own personal growth, and just a lot of good things, making a lot of moves. Been working really hard. Like I said, I love doing it. Passionate about it. I'm a workaholic about it. I'm a workaholic about a lot of things. My friends could tell you. But yeah, just a lot of good things, a lot of positives going in the right direction, you guys. Thank you to everyone that's supported, anyone who's viewed, anyone who's listened, anyone who's subscribed. You guys are great. Anyone who's commented, love the comments. Keep them coming. They're great. Yeah. So, as great as all of you guys are, let's get into something that's not so great. How many of you have already bought a ticket to McGregor versus Mayweather? Since I'm going to take the safe side of a bet and say the people that are listening to me or watching me are probably not of that tax bracket to where they can casually go out and watch that level of fight. I can't either. How many of you are going to watch it on pay-per-view? Okay. There's probably more of you that raised your hand right now or said yes to yourself. I like talking to myself too. How many of you are going to go to a bar, a casino, another friend's house who's already bought it, or another venue that's going to be showing the fight? There's probably a lot more of you. If I had to guess, I'd say 0% of the people watching me just said yes to buying the ticket. Probably 3 or 4% said yes to if they haven't already prepaid for the pay-per-view, they're going to get the pay-per-view. And then the other 95, 96 are going to go watch it somewhere free. So why do I say that? So McGregor and Mayweather, as hyped up as a spectacle as we thought we were going to get, even though no one's considering the legitimacy of the fight, as much of a event as we thought it was going to be, they're not selling tickets. In fact, I read the other day, and maybe it's changed in the last 24, 48 hours, but if the fight were to start today, half of the audience would not be there. They'd have half empty seats. Think about that. Imagine going, and this is hype-wise, fight of the century type stuff. This is as big as you get as far as star power and notable and notoriety. It'd be like the NBA Finals Game 5, half empty. The World Series, home opener, only half the people showed up. Why in boxing, we know those other scenarios would never happen. If there's an NBA Finals game, even though the prices get ridiculous, seats are sold out. World Series games, prices can get ridiculous. They're sold out. I mean, hell, the World Series has Game 7s, and those ticket prices, you get down to 24 hours of the game, and some are selling for $2,000, $3,000, and they still sell, but we can't get McGregor Mayweather to get more than half? McGregor and Mayweather, part of the reason why, and I think this is actually a sign of intelligence on the consumer's behalf. Sometimes we're just told something's great and we just run with it. We do. We get told this new restaurant by your friend or by a coworker, hey, this place is great, and you're just gonna go there. You don't even have to research it, do any kind of info gathering. You're just like, I'm gonna go. She said it was great. Sally said it was amazing. I'm gonna go there. It could actually be food you don't even like. You could sit there and be a steak person, get recommended a seafood place, not like seafood at all. You're like, I'm gonna go there. Sally said it was awesome. I'm gonna go. McGregor and Mayweather were told, if you listen to Dana White, we're told it's gonna be the greatest thing ever and it's a legitimate fight and a whole bunch of other stuff that's just not true. But we get told that it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good show, if anything else, right? It's going to be this grand event that you don't want to miss. And yet everyone's kind of like, and I'm going to talk about another issue having to do with a similar topic. But popularity has a big say in this. And boxing is just not popular right now. And there's going to be people who harp at me in the comment section and say, boxing is great. You got this guy, you got this guy. There's true diehard supporters of the sport. And that's great. You guys are awesome. Be a diehard supporter of the sport. I'm not. And I'm considering there's probably a lot less than there are of any of the other sports. Without the popularity, your hype machine dies out. And this is strictly just a hype machine. This isn't even like I gave you two really good players in this less than average supported sport, and it's just failing because of that. Like, don't want to throw them under the bus, but the WNBA, they can have great players, great teams, and their finals are still going to get much less ratings than the men's game. It's just how it works. When you have a product that you're trying to sell that your whole thing is just, it's great, like my iPhone right here. Hey, it's great, iPhone. Go get the iPhone. Yeah, it's awesome. Then you actually get it and you're like, well, it's kind of breaks easy. You know, I have issues with some of the apps and iTunes can be a pain in the ass. And we've been sold this for not just this fight, for Mayweather Pacquiao, I remember going to Mayweather Pacquiao at a casino and not even having unless you were sitting down at a table playing, you did not have enough room to even move your arms to scratch your nose. That's how many people were trying to get in and see it. And why? Because everyone wanted to see it and know what happened, but they wanted to go get it for free. Because it was not worth I don't remember how much Mayweather Pacquiao was as far as pay-per-view, but it was not worth the price. The same way this iPhone, it's an $800 phone if you buy it by itself. But if you wait the 2 years for your contract, you get the good deal and you get the phone for like $200. Or you get it on a pay plan. So just because we get told this is great does not mean it is. McGregor Mayweather, I think it's going to be a terrible fight. I'm glad people are not just buying into the hype, even though boxing will probably buy out an X amount of tickets too. It's not an uncommon thing where you buy out your last 10% of tickets so you get on TV or, so you don't look bad to the other people that bought the pay-per-view already and they're going, what the hell, why is it only half the seats? McGregor Mayweather's an iPhone. And not everybody loves an iPhone. I mean, I do because I can understand Androids. But, hey, maybe that's just me. NFL popularity. I want you guys to think about something here really quick. The NFL is so popular that we do the same thing every single year. Let me explain. Let me put it in question, actually. I think this is a better example. How popular is the NFL? Well, it's so popular that we can give you this game that means nothing, that has zero value, and zero of the people that you're going to want to actually see in 2 months. And we call it the Hall of Fame game, which boasts no starters, means zero, and is really just a pain because you have to play a 5th preseason game if you do it. And yet, all you see last night on Snapchat, all you see last night on Instagram, all you see last night on Facebook, the NFL is back. No, it's not. It's the Hall of Fame game. This is, to me, I don't know how anyone can sit there and justify these kind of things. And it's interesting. When you take something that is meaningless, no value, it's like a practice test, right? Not just a practice test. We're practicing for the practice test. This is kind of similar to the Summer League. I don't know if there is just a lack of fulfillment in some people's life. Maybe you guys need to go start watching Game of Thrones and get more excitement. I don't know if you need to sit there and go pick up a new hobby. But it drove me crazy. The Hall of Fame game and the Summer League have been 2 huge topics the last month, and they don't mean anything. I mean, I went online and looked and was like, okay, let's see if I can find let's justify the Hall of Fame game article. And you find them. You always find them because people will talk about anything, and there's literally people who will take 2 sides of a conversation, or they'll take 2 sides of a topic, and they'll do it just for sake of, hey, I need to write a column for Monday morning, or I need to get this article out, or I'm just going to talk about this because why not? The biggest excitement from the Hall of Fame game was the Cowboys players messing around on the sidelines, and Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott and Des Bryant laughing, and just they were talking about, oh, well, obviously you have the Elliott suspension, and then you have Bryant coming back with another year with Prescott, and how great is Prescott going to be in his second in the league? Teams adjusting him. It's like the entire time, and I'm like, you're going to justify this game was better, or this game was important or held significance because the guys who weren't playing? I don't know about you, but when I think of relevancy, when I think of importance, when I think of things that are supposed to matter, I don't think of things that are more important, more relevant, and matter more on the sideline or off to the stage left. You'll never go to a play in New York. I'm not a big play person, but my grandmother and my aunt are. And they'll never go and see a play where all the stars are backstage. And they just have a bunch of subs coming in and trying to play the roles in a very mediocre fashion. They don't do that. You never do that in any real life aspect. So, the Hall of Fame game, all it shows is the NFL is that popular. I talked about the NBA being the best ran sports league, but the NFL is definitely the most popular. It's similar to, for all my hip-hop heads out there, Kendrick and J. Cole are pretty much considered the 2 best rappers in the game. Drake's the most popular. If Drake hosted a show, but it was all of the people on his label came out and did the performance, people would go watch it. If Kendrick or J. Cole hosted a show and it was everybody on their label and they're up-and-coming guys, no one would go. The NFL is Drake. The NBA is Kendrick and J. Cole. Also, I apologize. I do have a little bit of camera issues, so give me like 30 seconds, you guys. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of audio and technical difficulties, or video difficulties. So, to finish off this show, I wanted to talk about Adrian Beltre, and this is one that I would have hit on Wednesday, but as you guys know, I just couldn't on Wednesday. Adrian Beltre got 3,000 hits, and my whole thing was going to be coming on, and I was all ready to talk about, well, is he really a Hall of Famer? Because I'm very big on the Hall of Fame being the best of the best, not just stat accumulators, and Adrian Beltre, outside of about a 4-year stretch of his career, is a stat accumulator. He had 4 really good peak years, oddly enough, in his 30s, whereas in his 20s, besides one outrageous 40-plus home run season, he's really just an average to really good player. If you want to make the case of him as an all-time great defensive third baseman, yeah, you've got an argument there because he does have one of the strongest arms you've probably ever seen, and he's got a really good glove. But as a Hall of Fame player, I was like, 5 seasons of 30 home runs? And he's probably not getting to 6. No MVPs. He had a couple top 5 finishes. He played in Texas, which they don't skew as much as they do with Coors, but it comes into a factor when they're thinking about your Hall of Fame credentials. And I was like, do I really think he's a Hall of Famer? I think he'll get in because he has 3,000 hits. He's by far one of my favorite players I've gotten to watch. But Hall of Fame? Debatable. And then, of course, I don't talk about on Wednesday. The day after, someone's talking about steroids. And the guy was questioning, is Adrian Beltre legit? Did he accumulate all these numbers the correct way, or was he on steroids? So, with the steroid argument, by the way, we're just never going to let this die. We will bring up steroids until for at least the next 20 years. And not only does it have to be every player who's been in the steroid era, and people are going to say the last of them are kind of retiring or fading out. Obviously, the last big one is Albert Pujols. But with the steroid era is not only, it becomes like a rumor, right? And the rumors starts to spread, and then the rumor starts to get contorted and just changed because it's going from one person to another, and you are never able to keep consistency that way. And with steroids, they're going to go from, okay, these are all the guys that started it, who we've pretty much seen them all trying to get into the Hall of Fame, the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire's, Bonds, Clemens. Then you've got the guys who still played in the era, the Pujolses, the Beltres. And then you're going to start getting the guys who, well, I mean, he played for 3 or 4 years with this guy, and that might have, he might have been doing the same thing he was. Because Adrian Beltre, to try to call him out for steroids, he did a really bad job if he was on steroids. Let's say that. He had one outlier season, yes, but even with his outlier season, he still was an okay player. And we've seen other outlier seasons and outlier players not be on steroids. But because of that era, unless you're Mariano Rivera, who gets a pass because he was just that dominant during that era, and it was almost like, oh, he was just so good that he had to, and he dealt with all the steroid players. Well, I mean, so did Roger Clemens, and Roger Clemens went to the Supreme Court and was found not guilty. But hey, Who am I to talk about that? The steroid era is a rumor that will never end because it'll simply go from these guys who are now leaving to the guys that they played with and to the guys that they played with. And every time someone comes up and looks too big, we're going to think steroids. We will never let that thought get out of our minds. It's the same reason why we will never let gambling out of our minds, because especially in baseball, when you have the Black Sox, you have Pete Rose, there will always be gambling questions. There will always be rumors. In the NBA, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, has gambling rumors attached to his name. These guys are guilty before innocent, which goes against every American tradition and law ever set. And we will never hear the end of steroids and gambling, and we will never have a clean player at least for 30, 40 years. Let's stop. Please, let's just stop the steroid conversation. Not every single player who hits 300 home runs or 400 home runs, not every player who gets 2,500 to 3,000 hits, not every guy who's got some connection to some dude, who, even if it's a ball boy in the 1990s, was on steroids. And like I said, nothing in this country should be guilty before innocent. Let's stop. Thank you guys. Super glad I got to come on today. I had a lot of fun. I always have a lot of fun. Don't forget Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. You guys know the deal. iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud. Keep hitting that subscribe button. Hit those notification buttons. Tell your friends. Word of mouth is a great tool. And I hope you guys all have an excellent weekend. I will see you guys on Monday.